Hey guys, Spore and Paisley here, and we're here to do a BJD tag video that was created by our good friend Alex L. But before I address the tag, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm in the process of moving. I just recently took my dolls back out of their boxes, and they have a new home on this ladder shelf back here. You can see there's a spot where Paisley goes that's empty. I have them organized by their sizes. And there's even another shelf below those SDs that has my sad headless body on it. So there's another shelf for SDs on there as well. And once his head comes in, I'll probably move one of my other guys down there so that at least he has a friend. But for now, he's a mysterious headless body sitting alone on a shelf. So I'm pretty excited with their new setup, and things are going swimmingly with that. So with that in mind, I'm in this new space. Looks sad and blank, but we'll deal with it. I'd like to do this prompt, or this tag rather, that Alex made and personally addressed me in. And her tag is called the What Not to Say to a BJD Collector tag. So rather than answering a bunch of questions, what she wanted was for us to read out a list of statements and then kind of react to them, or explain what we think of when people say them to us. So this is general questions or comments, normally from a non-BJD collector. So the first one is, "That's pretty weird." I don't get this a lot with people I know, but I do cross the border off and on, and I'll probably come back to these stories a few times, but I do cross the border from Canada to the US with my dolls, and the border people always have some sort of offhanded comments to say to me. They always ask me where I'm going and how I know the person, and I explain to them that we met on the internet and we're friends through the doll collecting hobby, and they always have some sort of comment. I'd like to just skip to the second one to be included in this. Her number 2 question is, "What do you do with your dolls?" The last time I got that was going over the border, and the officer there was like, "Well, what do you do with them?" Kind of hinting at like that they're like some weird sexual fetish doll thing, which is not the case. So I just explained that we pose them and take photos, and he was like, "Ooh, ooh." I always find it awkward to explain what I do with my dolls. I collect them, I put them on a shelf, I change their hair, eyes, and clothes, I give them a personality. I don't know. The fact that I collect dolls, I find, is like okay, but then when I have to explain like what I do with them, makes me feel weirded out. I don't know. So to answer both, to like respond to both, what do you do with your dolls, and that's pretty weird, or they usually come together as a series of questions, and you just kind of have to be prepared to awkwardly explain it if they're gonna already think it's weird. It's not really like an easy way to be like, well, I do this and that and make it okay. I don't know. Number 3, how much do they cost? I always answer that with, they range. Like, I have small ones and big ones, and the big ones are more expensive than the small ones, and that's all you really need to know. And sometimes I just actually like to shock people with the cost of my most expensive doll. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, he's just $600, like whatever." And they're like, "What?" And it's just like, I don't know, it's fine. Cause I don't know. I'm so used to the price of the dolls, it's like nothing to me. So nothing really bothers me. Number 4, don't you feel bad spending that kind of money on them? I don't usually get that, honestly. People will ask how much they cost and they'll be shocked, but like, it's my money, so not really their problem. If I was having money problems, then yes, and I'll address that later. Number 5, wouldn't you rather spend it on something useful? Again, people don't ask this to me because this is like, I have everything that I need. It's not like I live in a house where it's like, oh, clearly it's falling apart and you need all of these things, and how could you afford them and dolls? Like, I can afford anything that I need and dolls. So people don't normally see a problem with that. what even made you decide to get them? I don't know. Like these questions, I don't actually. A lot of these questions are like common. Um, what I would think of someone who's like kind of chastising you for being a doll collector, something that they would say. But I don't get a lot of these questions again because I've been collecting for quite a few years now, and all of my immediate friends and like coworkers and stuff, like I tell them about my dolls, and people are generally very receptive. But I feel like I surround myself with people that are nice and receptive, and if they weren't, they wouldn't be in my life. But the question was, what even made you decide to get them? That's an easy explanation. I was interested in them. I'm a collector, blah, blah, blah. You collect things too, I'm sure. What made you decide to collect them? You just explain it. It's all good. What? They're anatomically correct? Why, though? Yeah, that's fun. It's fun to shock people with that. Oh, yeah, he's got a little peen, whatevs. And again, I surround myself with people that can appreciate some humor and fun, and they're mostly wearing clothes, so I don't actually get a lot of questions on that. Mostly they're just like, oh, they're pretty, and then they don't touch them or do anything, so it's all good. Number 8, they're cool, I guess, but I could never justify that amount of money, and that's fine. I'm just like, okay, then you don't buy them, then I'll keep collecting mine, and it's awesome. We're good. If I had your kind of money, I would have bought a house by now. If someone said that to me, I'd be like, hey, can you buy a house with 10 grand? Because you can't. And I don't think I've spent more than that on my dolls, so that's just silly. And I'm sure that you've spent that much money on something. I mean, heck, I could buy a couch, I guess. Like, whatever. That's silly. Number 10. Your significant other lets you do this. Don't you care what they think? If anyone knows my significant other, they know that he also collects figures, so it's just a no-brainer. We're both collectors. No one questions this, and we're both super nerdy, so it's just expected that he doesn't care. And sometimes he does comment on it, like, oh, do you really need that many? But then I'm just like, well, it's my money, and I earned it from working, and he's like, okay, whatever. He stopped caring after I got like 10, and he's like, do you really need another one? I also say, oh, I don't know if I really need another one, and we can have that discussion. But he's never told me I can't do things with the money that I've made. He's never told me that I can't do something with my own hardworking cash. So we have a great relationship. Number 11, my significant other would never let me do this. That gives me red flags, actually. Like, then I'm like, what? Your significant other won't let you do things that you enjoy? Then I think maybe there's a problem in your relationship. Yeah, that sends alarm bells when I hear people saying, oh no, my husband would never let me buy these dolls, or I could never have one, or my husband gave me a budget of $200. Then I'm like, okay, so are you his servant? Why can't you do a thing you want? That, I don't know. I can't understand it. I can't. Because I'm in a relationship where we're super open and we both appreciate each other's hobbies. So I just think it's weird if you're with someone who can't appreciate what you like or do. But whoever's saying that, good luck with your life. Number 12. Are there any other people who collect this sort of thing? That's a great question. I love that question, because then I'm like, oh, look, here's pictures of my doll meets. Look at all my friends I made. And then they're like, oh, wow, you have all these friends. Your life is so much more enriched. Good thing you collected BJDs. No, I wish people would ask me this question. It's a great question. Number 13. You should sell them. You could make a lot of money. Oh, I hate this one. People always tell me about this one, say this one to me. Oh, do you sell them? Well, then you just explain, no, because I didn't make them. I'm not a doll artist. and I've literally just styled a pre-purchase doll, so that's not a thing. And I still get it too, like, oh, you did the face up? Oh, you should sell it. You should sell those. There's not a turnover market for these. You don't, you buy them from the company to make them custom. It doesn't work with BJDs. You just have to explain that. Like, I didn't make this doll. I'm not the artist, so I can't just be like selling them. I sell clothes I make for them. So I can do that. Number 14. That's insert gender, but it doesn't look like one. I don't get it. I do this to people still too, so you know what? Even if you're a non-collector, even if you are a collector, I'm like, hey, that's clearly a boy. Like, why did you put it in that? It looks weird. So like, I'm an offender to this as well. It's not just non-BJD collectors. It's ignorant people like myself also. But then if people do say, like, because my boy dolls, I think they look like boys and they're dressed like boys and they just have a girlish face, then I'm like, well, that's the aesthetic. It's like a girly anime boyish face, and then that's that. 15. Don't they creep you out? Don't they creep you out at night? How can they be in your bedroom? I think that was the next one. I'd be scared to have them in my bedroom. I don't know how you do it. Those are connected. They're here in this bedroom right over there. And you know what? Porcelain dolls terrify me. I do not like them in a room with me. When I was a child, I had 3 porcelain dolls and I had to turn around to change because I didn't want to see their faces. Like, I don't know, they creeped me out. And at night, I would look at them and be really scared. There's something about the BJDs that doesn't freak me out, but I can totally understand why their eyes might scare someone. But I feel like they don't have like a blank stare like a porcelain doll. I've put their eyes in a way to give them like a personality, that they're looking up, they're looking away. So they're not freaky at all. Like, they're not going to come to life. That's really crazy. But there are a lot of dolls that do scare me, so I can understand that. And at first my significant other kind of didn't really want them in the bedroom, but this is where they go because they're protected from the sun, and too bad, and that's your life, and get over it. So yeah, that's that. Those were all the questions. Alex also asked to include any other questions that we might have thought of, or comments. And in lieu of that, I thought I would just address a couple of things that come up in conversations with other doll collectors. Not necessarily a non-collector who would make a comment like most of these, but other doll collectors. A few things that they have said to me or do that kind of elicit some sort of a comment or mental thought where I'm like, kind of thing. At doll meets and online, I've had a lot of people talk to me about their money problems. And, oh, you know, I have 6 layaways and I can't afford basic necessity, but I have 20,000 dolls and I'm buying 500 more. That to me, I'm like, okay, why are you doing this? Like, this is messed up. You have a problem. I know I have like 15 dolls. I can't even count them right now, but I have no issues, no money problems. If I did, I wouldn't be buying them. Like that, when people are telling me about that, I just can't even. My brain is like, you have a problem, what are you doing, you're crazy. I can't understand it. I can't understand not being able to afford basic necessities, complaining that you need money for rent, that you have one of those GoFundMe pages to give you money for your electricity bill, and yet you just bought a new doll. Like, what the heck? I can't. I can't. A second one would be just like at a doll meet, I find that really inappropriate and overly casual like discussions always come up, just about health or sexuality. Like, these people that I meet, because we share a common interest in dolls, it's awesome. We can get along, we can make a connection right away, but sometimes it just gets overly casual, really fast, and it's like, I don't know you, I don't really need this information about you, we've just met, I know we have this great common interest, but really, you gotta dial it back. You gotta dial it back. I have those moments all the time. I thought of a third thing to say. Oh yeah, when people talk to their dolls in front of you, like, oh hey, yeah, this is so and so. What do you think about your outfit? Oh, now I'm just gonna ignore you and talk to my doll. What? Why are you talking to it? What? It's not alive. Talk to me. I'm a person in front of you. Don't talk, like, I've honestly had a woman completely zone out after she was putting pants on her doll, and she was like, oh, you don't like those pants, do you? They make you uncomfortable. And then she did some weird sexual thing with the doll, and then was just talking to it and ignored me. And like, okay, cool. Now I know why people are asking these weird questions about us, because of people like you. So yeah, lots of weird stuff happens in this hobby. There's lots of unwanted questions from people that don't collect and people that do. So you just kind of gotta be wary about that and just kind of brush it off when it happens, which is what I do. And I've had lots and lots and lots of positive reactions to my dolls. If I bring a doll to people and show it to them, oh, this one didn't get mentioned. Oh, do you collect Barbies? Is it like Barbies? Or my friend collects antique dolls. You definitely get along with them. No. BJD is only for me. I don't collect any other type of doll. I'm totally disinterested in any other type, and that may be very egocentric. But if you want to show me your doll, that's your doll of a different variety. That's awesome and very cool, but I probably won't be your friend because of that. Like, we need the connection on something else than we collect a thing that's shaped like a human. Like, I'll need a little bit more than that. Or like, I had a coworker that was really sweet. She brought in these dolls that her niece had made, and she showed them to everyone, and it was really cool, but like, I don't want them. She's like, do you want any of them? No, I feel bad, but it's like, no, I only collect this type of doll. This is it. This is the only kind. And yeah, it's not a Barbie. It's not a Monster High doll. Not interested, no. Yeah. So that's what I have to add. A question about, is it a Barbie? Do you collect Barbies? Is it porcelain dolls? No, I just explained it's something totally different. You've probably never seen anything like it. I'll show you a picture. Then I show a picture and they're like, oh wow, that's not what I was thinking at all. It's very cool. That's normally the reaction I get. So yeah, that's my question to add, Alex, and also comments from other collectors. So thank you so much for the tag. I thought it was a kind of a fun one and a good one for us to do because we as BJD owners and the tag creator herself and myself love to complain about things. So why don't we do it in a video? And we have done it in a video. So check her out, Alex L. And I tag anyone who's watched this because I don't like to be specific on people. So if you've watched this, you're now tagged and you need to make a video response. It's not a choice. Do it right now. Okay. Bye, guys.